I'm with archaeologist Dr Oren Gutfeld from the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. Now, there's been a major discovery, a 12th cave at Qumran, where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. How important is this discovery?
Well, it's very, very significant because it's the first time after 60 years that a new cave with traces for scrolls has been found. And when I'm saying traces, I mean at least 7 or 8 complete storage jars. Few of them are Qumran scroll jars with their lids. Unfortunately, we found them broken, complete from archaeological point of view, but we can do some restoration and to have them complete. And next to them, we found a cloth that used to cover the scrolls, and even 2 stripes made of leather that tied the scroll. So it's very, very significant because, as I said, it's the first time after 60 years that a cave like that was found. Further than that, in one of the niches in the cave, I found a blockage, a huge rock that was blocked in the entrance to this niche that was put tensionally on a wall. When I took the rock out, I started to dig and I found another complete storage jar. And from this complete storage jar, another cloth, walled cloth, came out. And again, it's the first time after 60 years that a walled cloth, unfortunately not a scroll, not a written scroll, but only the leather, but has been found.
How old is this stuff?
Well, all this material is dated very, very well to the Second Temple period, probably the 1st century BCE or the 1st century AD. And together with that, we found a huge amount of organic finds, like hundreds of olive pits, date pits, even nuts or nutshells, a few remains of baskets and ropes. That tells us that people used to live in this cave at some point, and at the second point, they hidden the scrolls.
And when you say you found a scroll, is it the scroll that we have in our imagination, or is it just a fragment of a scroll?
Yes, first of all, it's a fragment. Unfortunately, it's blanked. We found it empty, and actually we found 3 pieces, 3 fragments. Unfortunately, all the 3 are blank or empty. And it's a question. First of all, inside the cave we found 2 pickaxes of the Bedouins from 60 years ago, which means that the Bedouins were there before us, and they broke the storage jars and took the scrolls. And what we have is only the leftovers. As I said, the storage jars, the lids, the stripes, the cloth, and even 3 leather fragments.
So some things have been stolen.
That's correct. But it's well known that after 1947, when the first Bedouins from the Tamorai found Qumran Cave number 1 and the first 7 scrolls, they went up to Bethlehem to this antique merchant. Actually, he was then a shoe merchant under the name of Kandu. And he encouraged them to return to the area of Qumran and look for more. And only later he realized, after he prepared from them shoes and contract for marriage, and after he understood the significance of this leather or scrolls, he encouraged them to return to the caves and look for more. And this is how the race against the Bedouin has started. The Bedouins were working in the caves, and only in 1951, archaeologists from the French school in Jerusalem, Roland Devaux, and from the American school, Harding, started to dig, first of all in the Qumran, the settlement, and only later on in the cave. So it was a race against the Bedouin, not a very successful one. Most of the scrolls were found by the Bedouins. So it was not a surprise, and it was a big disappointment that we found these pickaxes, because we completely understood immediately that they took the scrolls already. But it wasn't a big surprise because we know that they were everywhere.
So you didn't find any text on anything?
That's correct. We found the material, the leather itself, and everything else that connects to the scrolls, like the cloth and the stripes, but not written fragments, unfortunately.
Now, you found a 12th cave. Does that mean there could be many, many more caves out there that you haven't found yet?
That's correct. In general, in the research, we know about 11 caves that Harding and Devaux and later on Milik found scrolls. Now we know for sure that there were more than 11 caves. First of all, we can be sure from where the other scrolls came, since we cannot reliable on the Bedouins' information or even Kandus. But now for sure we know that from this cave more scrolls were stolen.
Is there a value to what you've been finding?
Oh, absolutely. Value, you mean?
Both ways, monetary and just in the find itself.
No, we don't care about the monetary value. We care only about the science, about the information, the data, the archaeological remains, and what we can learn more from this stuff. First of all, this is, as I said, after 60 years now we have much better technology. First of all, to screen the fragments. Second, to analysis, to have a better analysis of the organic finds. What kind of seeds we have found, from which species, and etc. From what the cloth were made, and for what, and on.
So there's a lot of information there that you wouldn't have known before.
That's correct. I mean, 60 years ago, for example, they didn't analyze the bones. We have plenty of bones inside the cave, so we can know the diet of the people who live there. For example, we found many dates of many seeds of dates seeds, which mean that the people in the cave, in the desert in general, liked to eat dates because it's very rich with sugars and protein. So, for example.
Is it expensive to do an excavation like this?
Yes. Unfortunately, it's expensive. We need the manpower, insurances, of course, to reach to the caves. But most of the money, and you will be surprised to hear, is after the excavation, is the finds processing, which takes, the C14 test, for example, is very expensive. To clean the rocks, to take care of the ladders, it's an expensive processing. But I hope that we'll be able to raise the money for that.
It's very exciting for the state of Israel to be finding more stuff like this.
Yes, that's correct. And we have the full support of the Israel Antiquities Authority and the conservation lab, scroll lab of the Israel Antiquities Authority, who helps a lot.
How long have you been working at the site?
At the site itself, well, we plan to dig 2 weeks and we stayed for a month. We plan to return to the area to make a survey in the area of the cave and to look for more caves that we intend to dig in the future.
As an archaeologist, it must be really exciting for you to find this 12th cave.
That's correct. Well, it's not the first time that I'm finding something very significant, but regarding history and, we're talking about the scrolls and cave and Qumran, yes, it probably is.
So what will happen to the finds that you've found so far?
Well, now we're starting to work on the publication and the finds processing, which means we're doing the restoration of the jars, cleaning the cloth, taking analysis of the leather, C14 and other analyses, and give it to the experts to write their articles and chapters for the final report.
Now, when were the original Dead Sea Scrolls discovered, and tell us a little bit more of the story of them?
Yes. Well, as I said earlier, the Muhammad the Wolf Al-Dib was found the first scroll in 1947 in cave number 1. He found 7 scrolls, among them Josiah first and Josiah second, Pesher Chavakuk, and others. And that was just the beginning of almost a decade of scroll searching, also by the Bedouins and also by the archaeologists. The first work was in the caves on the cliffs above Qumran, where scrolls were found almost in all the 11 caves that numbered 1 to 11. Further to this, the Bedouins, of course, worked all over, and also Devor made a survey on more than 270 caves on the cliffs west to Qumran. In general, more than 600 literature books were found, with more than 15,000 fragments of scrolls. Most of them are from the Bible, except of the scroll of Esther, which is very interesting, why the scroll of Esther is not there. The outer books, some of them are new books that we didn't know, for example, the book of Hanoch, Yuvalim, the Scroll Temple, and some of them are sectarian scrolls, like scrolls that goes with the saints that some scholars believe that lived in Qumran and wrote the scrolls. And some of the scrolls are very unique, like the copper scroll.
Have you always been interested in the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yes, less in the scrolls and more in the archaeology around the scrolls. I mean, even if I will find a scroll, and I hope I will, I'm not an expert in the literature and in Bible and epigraphy. So I'm more interested about the material culture around it. When it was hidden, why, wrote by whom, but less on the scroll themselves.
So is now the hunt on for cave number 13 before the Bedouins get there?
Well, I'm not sure if before the Bedouins they were probably there, but yes, we tend to go to another cave. And, because when the Bedouin are conducting excavation, illegal excavation, they're just looking for the scrolls and they leave everything else behind them. And even the early archaeologists, Devoe and others, they didn't sift most of the caves that they surveyed. So I think that we should go back and find what I'm calling a juicy cave, and to sift everything and find more of these dates or even cloth, stripes and other.
Now you've been an archaeologist for many years. What other things have you found?
Well, practicing archaeology for more than 25 years now. And I remember in 1998 in Tiberias on a salvage excavation, I found the biggest Islamic metal hoard in the world. It was hidden in 3 huge pithoi, storage jars. And everything that you can think of made of copper, alloy, or bronze or brass, I found over there. It was very, very interesting because on the smallest storage jars, I found more than 250 kilo of metal waste. Probably the metal, the blacksmith meant to melt and to prepare new artifacts. And in between the metal waste, I found 51 coins, very, very rare coins that named Anonymous Folis. Anonymous because instead of the emperor, someone is familiar, there's Anonymous figure. And Folis is the value of the coin. But on the reverse of the coin, we found 2 abbreviation Greek inscriptions. Jesus Christos Basileus Basilei, Jesus Christ, King of the Kings, and Jesus Christos Nika, the victor. Which means that those are very, very rare coins that were minted in Constantinople before the end of the first millennium in order to publicize the Christianity before the end of the first millennium, and I found it before the end of the second millennium. And the story goes that one day, just at the beginning of the year 2000, I received an envelope in Italian with the symbol of the Vatican, the keys of St. Peter. And I was invited to have an audition before the Pope, John Paul II. So I went to the Vatican and I was sitting next to him for 2 hours on Ash Wednesday Mass in St. Peter's Square. And later on there was an audition. It was very, very exciting. And I showed him the coins and the story behind the finds.
Amazing. Yeah. So what's your hope for the future now?
Well, I hope to return to the Dead Sea, the sooner the better, to continue the survey, to find another juicy cave, and to conduct an excavation. And I hope that we'll meet again, and I'll tell you about the new finds from the new cave.
Okay, Dr. Oren Gutfeld, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.